and reflect on our time here in Madrid, Spain.
Yes. So how long have we been here now?
We got here, we're coming up on, what, 3 weeks, a month?
I think we just said 3 weeks.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of takeaways, because this is different.
This
is very different from some of the travel we've been doing, just being in Europe, different time zone, and it's been fun. I've enjoyed our time here.
I have too, which is funny. This is my third time in Madrid. This is your second time in Madrid?
Second, yeah.
And I thought I didn't like Madrid. I was convinced.
Yeah.
I was convinced I did not like Madrid.
I don't think we ever needed to come back here.
No, I was sure. This is
weeks
definitely like a flyover city in my books. But I think this time it hits different because one, we're staying in a neighborhood that we really like.
We do,
And then two, the weather's been fantastic since we've been here.
Man.
It's just sunny and perfect.
It is. So every day has been sunny. I think it's rained, twice since we've been here? And it hasn't even been all day rain. So the sun is shining right now, not a cloud in the sky. It's not too hot. It's not cold at all. And we're staying in the La Latina neighborhood.
Which is lovely.
Very close to Lavapiés.
Yeah, Lavapiés is just south of us.
So we are in a very diverse, very fun, lively part of town, and it's very central. And our Airbnb is nice, It is nice.
It is. I definitely think this neighborhood it's just very cool. There's a lot of just really cool people walking around. I think the demographic skews young, it skews diverse, it skews very gay, but I also see a lot of families and kids and strollers out and about. And then Lavapiés, which is just south of us, is very ethnic. So there are a lot of Indian restaurants, a lot of different African restaurants and people. As soon as you head down the hill, here in La Latina, you start to see a lot of racial and ethnic diversity. Yeah, we had some Senegalese food yesterday that changed our lives.
The food here has been spot on.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Has been spot on.
We've gained a little happy weight.
I thought. I'm surprised we gained weight.
We've been doing so much walking, touring neighborhood, miles a day. And the elevator was broken here in our accommodation. The lift was out. So we're on the fourth floor, but it's Europe, so the floor count is different. So basically the fifth floor. We've been going up and down stairs every single day, walking miles and miles and miles, and we still managed to put on happy weight.
Carrying kids, carrying a stroller, and I've been losing weight all year. And then boom, we come here and it's back up.
We're re-bigging our bags.
Re-bigging the bags. All right, I'm going to talk through some of my personal favorites about being here.
Please.
I really enjoy just the walkability of being in Europe. The fact that you can just jump on a train, a bus. Anytime you go out of your apartment, there's 50 options for businesses, stores, restaurants, etc.
Yeah.
Parks are everywhere.
They are.
Which is great for the kids. And I think everyone just likes being outside. I really love the food here in Madrid. I think since it's just one of those major cities, you have a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, there's so many options.
There's so many options. The weather has been fantastic, especially coming from Mexico.
It was so hot.
Especially coming from the Riviera Maya in Mexico. We've been sweating our asses off, so the weather here has been great.
Nice change of pace.
People have been cool. I mean, the thing about Madrid too is it's an international city. It is a melting pot. So you have obviously your traditional Spaniards from Madrid, from Spain, but you have a lot of students here. We have a lot of immigrants from Africa, from parts of India, Pakistan, Turkey. Even
a lot of people from Latin America. We've encountered a lot of Dominicans. There's a Venezuelan man the other day. I met a Colombian woman when we were out walking around who'd been here 4 years, which is interesting. It's intuitive, I guess, with the whole language thing. Yeah. But still interesting.
And then the last thing I'll say is the vibe. The vibe is very much more they're laxed and it's embedded in their culture.
Yeah.
That relaxation. That don't take things too seriously, don't be too much in a hurry, in a rush. It's very much everyone wants to enjoy life. They have great work-life balance here. And even though I'm not even working, I feel it. I feel it right now.
It is nice. I think too, on the topic of working, I've really loved this time zone. I know I had some concerns about, because Madrid is 6 hours off from East Coast time. And so I think it was a thing of like, oh, what's it going to feel like for the workday to not start until 3 p.m. But it honestly feels like we have more time in the day.
Yeah.
Like we get to wake up, mornings are slower. We get to like enjoy the kids. There's less of like a rush to like get ready and like hurry up to get out the door. And then by the time we get back, because we've been doing so much walking and exploring, they're kind of tired. They can have quiet time. I can like transition into like work. I think it's been really nice.
Yeah, like for today, for example, like you slept in. I got up with the kids, got them breakfast, ready for the day. By the time you got up, it was like 10 a.m. Then we got ready to go to the mall. We spent most of the day at the mall.
Yeah.
Had lunch, came back. It's now like 6:30 p.m. You haven't even started your work day yet.
I have a call soon. First of all, this is publicly distributed. I'm working, I promise.
No, take some calls.
Yeah.
Earlier.
And then also, I've been on Slack, email. I think it's nice because you can get a lot of like the asynchronous stuff done like earlier in the day. So like if all the emails and stuff are answered by like 7, 8 a.m. East Coast time, then I'm just kind of like waiting for like calls and the stuff where I have to be in people's faces, which is neat.
And then there's only been a couple days where like I just am doing the bedtime routine with the kids solo, but honestly it's not that bad because they're tired.
Yeah.
By that
We
time,
wear them out.
Yeah, they can't fight back. Like, they can't fight back. But
I think the kids like it here too.
the kids do like it
And
here.
Zay has really been enjoying the atmosphere.
Yeah, because I think anytime you're in Europe, it's like everything is like for the kids. I mean, we've been to a lot of places like that, but I think here he likes the fact that it's very walkable. Like we're in a neighborhood. I always ask him, I'm like, does this feel like Daniel Tiger's neighborhood? Because like literally the laundry is like the laundry that he has right there. The bakery's right there.
There are restaurants all over. There's a
Restaurants
little
everywhere.
paleta spot. He knows where
Like
the
you're
park
in a
is,
community, right? And like everything is like easily accessible.
which is so nice. I know you used to say all the time when I lived in Atlanta, you'd be like, we're in a food desert. We're in a food desert. Because you had to like drive to the grocery store and
so
then it would just
far.
like close so early sometimes. And like, there was just like a lot going on, and I used to think it was so dramatic, but now that I know I can walk out of here and within 5 minutes, I think there are like 3 or 4 grocery stores that I can literally walk to, and I'm just like, wow, we were in a food desert.
Yeah, the pharmacy is right there.
Yeah.
Like the grocery store is right there. There's multiple options, so I love that. As far as like, let's get into like serious. I feel like, like we're out here scouting, right? So we are here on a scouting trip, so that means we've been looking at apartment rentals. We've been looking at schools. We've been looking at just different parts of the city that we would live in, getting a vibe for like what it would be like. What are the other what are the other foreigners like?
Yeah.
What kind of community would we blend into? So what is your takeaway so far on that?
I love Madrid. I think in looking at the different neighborhoods, one of the things that hits me like immediately and super hard is looking at where like the international bilingual schools are, where the nicest neighborhoods are, and then where the most racial diversity is.
What do you think is a nice neighborhood like for you?
Cuatro Caminos is probably like the nicest area that like we looked at that I really liked, but I think which is where that school that we walked by was too. But I think looking at that and then again looking at like where the most racial diversity exists and seeing that there's just like a clear delineation is one of those things where again it's like, wow, like this is just going to be something that's like reiterated everywhere. The nicer like the neighborhood gets and the more like accessible good education is and all this sort of stuff, the less black and like brown and especially dark brown people you're going to see. And I think that's always something that's difficult. And it's not that it's like, I'm shocked, that like it's that way. But I think like just seeing it like over and over, no matter where you are. Because we saw the same thing in Colombia. You see the same thing in Mexico. We see the same thing in Spain, the same thing in the US, obviously. And I think it's got different flavors and maybe a little more subtle or a little more, in your face, right? We saw the same thing in Brazil. But I think it's just one of those things where every time we scout and like the second you notice it. Like the police presence.
Oh, yeah.
That's down in like Lavapiés versus you go up to like Cuatro Caminos and like it's just completely different. And I think the attitude towards like immigrants, refugees, and foreigners, especially that we've seen pop up on our Instagram since we've been posting about being here.
Yeah, and it's definitely like something that I've known but not really like thought about, right? Because you think about racism. You think about racism and you think about, okay, like, yeah, I'm black, am I welcomed here, am I comfortable here? But here it's more like a xenophobic issue that you have to deal with. So like, are you an immigrant? Where are you from? It's like, where are you from?
Where your mama stay?
Yeah. So, you know, Africans are treated, you can definitely tell they're kind of at the lower end of society. And Africa is a continent. So like when I say Africa, I mean like the dark-skinned Africans.
Because I think they have a lot of refugees and immigrants here from Somalia. I think it's one of like the top countries, and then I'm sure from Senegal as well.
Yeah.
And then probably all over the place. But I think, of course, here they're just going to kind of like lump everyone together. The same way in the U.S., people are like Mexican, and it's like that man is from Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And they're like, I said Mexican. Yeah. You're just like,
because Africa's right there. Right?
Yeah.
Like the tip of Africa is you could see it from southern Spain. So like a lot of Africans are coming here, and obviously the Spanish people probably feel some type of way. And so the police presence is geared towards like, I think, checking people's papers, making sure people aren't loitering, stuff like that.
We move through the world a lot. We look like a very traditional family structure. You know, we're married, we're husband, we have kids, you know, and our kids are cute. And then also we're American. Those layers of privilege protect us, but it doesn't feel good, right? Knowing that anytime you have privilege.
And the thing is, when I leave the house by myself without y'all, and you leave the house without, you know, the kids, it's just like, okay, how are you treated? Because it's fine to be looked at as the family unit when you're walking around as a family, but like some days I go out by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
I want to
had that
make
experience in Brazil.
Yeah,
we were talking about.
And I want to make connections. I want to, you know, walk into stores, stuff like that. So it's just like, okay, how am I perceived? And I think I'm overthinking it, and they could tell I'm American.
They can tell. Even the woman, the Colombian woman that I spoke to, she's lived here in Madrid for years, and we stopped and talked to her for a little bit. And she was basically just saying, like, yeah, you're from America. Like, I can tell you don't look like she said, you don't look like the Africans. And I'm like, well, same continent, but yeah, a little bit of a different flavor. So.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the housekeeping stuff with scouting, I think you're spot on. I honestly think like a lot of the neighborhoods I think are doable. To me, it's like the price points. Like Madrid is a capital city. It is much more expensive than I thought it would be for housing. For housing. I think
groceries and stuff, consumer goods they're cheaper than the US. They just are.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been a lot of parts of the city that I've enjoyed. I think with the schools and stuff, they look great. I think we haven't really connected with other foreigners or other locals. Like we haven't really connected with people. I think we've been busy like family, working, stuff like that. Do a part 2. All in all, we really enjoyed our time in Madrid, Spain. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to share your comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more videos like this.